Hi, I'm Mary Bowman from Seattle University School of Law, and I'm the director of the Legal Writing Program, and I'm here to talk to you about our recent efforts as part of an ongoing series of efforts to collaborate across the curriculum to improve transference of our students' learning. So at Seattle U, we talk about having a goal of a comprehensive, integrated skills curriculum. We feel strong about the comprehensive. You see some examples on the slide of some of the many experiences we have. The focus has been on the integrated part. And so we've had a history of several collaborations to work on this integration, particularly between legal writing faculty and our clinicians, also bringing in our librarians, including meetings to talk about common vocabulary, and our Real Client in the First Year project, where first-year legal writing students work on slices of pending clinical cases with 3Ls. That work has led to our contributions to the new 1L book, which is fabulous if you haven't seen it yet. And these collaborations have been great. But we still would find that I taught this in legal writing. And then they get to the clinic and they can apply it to some extent, but not to the level of competency that we want to see. And because of these collaborations, we know I taught them that, and the clinicians know you taught them that. So this summer, the week before the semester started, we brought together the largest group yet to talk about transference. Our clinicians, our externship faculty, our intro to practice faculty, legal writing faculty, librarians, academic support, and our co-curricular Access to Justice Institute all came together to talk about how to improve transference. Last spring, our faculty had read Make It Stick, which is a great educational theory, learning theory book, not specific to the law school. Has some great information, though, that's really relevant to help understand adult learning theory and transference. As preparation for the retreat, we asked our participants to do extra homework, which is read this fantastic article from 2014 in the Journal of Legal Education called Reaching Backwards and Stretching Forwards. It has some really good practical techniques to use to help students reach back in a later setting to what they've already learned, and then some great techniques for stretching forward to when you teach them something for the first or second time, how to anticipate how they're going to use that information, and that's really consistent with the Make It Stick and learning theory research. So we had our participants do that homework, and then we brought them together for a half day. And the other key structural piece of the retreat was this idea of backwards planning. Rather than starting from what we're currently doing, starting from where we want to get to, and work backwards, and we use that to design the retreat, and we also educated our participants about that concept and had them use that in the activities. Then finally, we picked a concrete skill to take all this theory and practice with it. So we started with client counseling because it's something that's really a core skill regardless of where students go out and practice. It's taught in the foundational classes of the group we brought together, and then we'll do it later with another skill. The way the retreat worked was that we started with an introductory kind of warm-up exercise, getting the participants to reflect on their own transference. And then we refreshed their recollection or educated them about those core theories. And then the key was we broke them into small groups, interdisciplinary, no more than 1 or 2 people from any particular setting within the law school, and put them together and asked them to do 2 things. 1, backwards plan, identify the competencies that we wanted students to have in the area of client counseling. And 2, develop a series of exercises that would be linked together throughout the curriculum from the first year through the second year and into the third year. And we gave them 40 minutes to do this. Everyone said, "You're crazy, you can't do that." Well, as a matter of fact, we came up with 14 exercises in 40 minutes out of 4 small groups. 10 of the exercises were for the first year programs, a mix of tweaks to things we were already doing and some new things that people thought of for the first time that hadn't been done before. And then we came up with another 4 exercises for the upper division. I think the balance was in part by who was in the room a little bit and the timing. Again, a mix of tweaks to things people were already doing and some new stuff, but all of which we asked folks to identify how it reached back to the sequencing of the exercises. Since the retreat, we did a survey to see what people thought. 19 of the 28 participants responded. Feedback overwhelmingly positive. There's always one naysayer, but other than that, the feedback was overwhelmingly positive, and participants really commented on how helpful it was to start with the focus on learning theory, and then to get a chance to sit down and talk about and understand what's going on outside your little piece of the law school, and then to connect with colleagues in a personal way as well as the exercises being helpful. So, couple of representative comments on the slide. Comments tended to range between two things. One, the retreat gave me a new way to look at what I'm already doing. And two, the collaborative focus gave me such great ideas for new possibilities. We were just thrilled with the comments. We've had some implementation successes since the retreat 6 weeks ago, including changes to the pro bono readiness seminar that was taught a couple of weeks ago. The student feedback was fantastic on how the new exercises that were developed and implemented were. We're working on additional implementation steps. In terms of barriers, we also asked in the survey about barriers to continued implementation. The two that came up every time, or pretty consistently, time pressure, hard to do this once the semester gets going, and lack of institutional structure support for how do we know what's going on, how do we figure out how to have more institutional structure around working together. So next steps, we have a meeting in December to address both those things, to educate people about what's going on, and to really focus on creating that new structure. And then we're in the early stages of planning the next iteration of applying the process to a new skill. Happy to talk to any of you about the process or the exercises and how it connects with what you're doing at your schools. Thanks very much.